Hi everyone, the time is 12 o'clock right now. We'll give it a few more minutes to let more people join before we.
Sure. Mic test, Jonathan. Okay.
Yep, all good, all good.
Okay. Sure. My slides also.
Yep.
Okay.
Hey, the time now is 12:02. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jonathan Wu, a Senior Research Analyst here at Philips Securities. Thanks for joining us in another iteration of our Corporate Insights webinar presented by Philip. We are honored to have with us today Mr. Terence So, founder and CEO of ryde, to share more about the company's business fundamentals, run through some financials, and answer any burning questions you may have regarding the business or the mobility industry. As always, feel free to post your questions in the Q&A tab below, and our speaker will answer them during the Q&A session later on after the presentation. So without further ado, I'd like to hand over the time to Terence to get us started. Terence, please take it away. Thanks.
Hi. Thank you, Jonathan, for the introduction, and good afternoon to everyone. All right. I'm Terence So, the founder, chairman, and CEO of the ryde Group. Right. We are the first ride-hailing company, Singapore ride-hailing company to list on the NYSE, and our ticker is RYDE. So I understand that we have some time this afternoon. So I'll do a short presentation, and then happy to take any questions from the floor, and if Jonathan has any as well. Okay. So this is the usual disclaimer. And we are a ride-hailing app. So for everyone here, right, we need to give off voucher codes. So during the course of this presentation, if you haven't downloaded the ryde app, please do go download the ryde app. And then you claim your $8 voucher code, right, with your 10-digit code that will expire shortly, before the end of today, right, PC2806. And I'll reflash this again towards the end of the presentation. So you got the whole presentation to figure out how to top up the voucher. And please share it with your family and friends before the numerical cap has been exceeded. Okay, so about us, we are a super mobility app, right, built right here in Singapore. We started off as a carpooling app And then in 2014-15, where we launched the first on-demand carpooling in Singapore, way before Hitch. And we branched into private hire in 2018 once Uber left the scene. And in 2020, we had a pilot trial for our ryde, which is our delivery quick commerce vertical. And we have fully integrated we completed the beta trial sometime in 2022-23, and we put that vertical into our app right now. So these are the broad steps, right, in the year ending 2023. And this is my management team. For myself, just a brief introduction. I got a scholarship and I served in the Navy the first part of my career. Then I left the Navy and I went on to do MBA from Harvard Business School. I came back and I did a career transition into finance. And in 2014, with the experience gain, and I saw there was an opportunity to start off carpooling, and then I jumped into the entrepreneurial journey, and there was no turning back since. It was about 10 years, and then we got it listed in the NYSE, right? So those very, very brief history about myself. Of course, I'm supported by a very, very solid team. Lang is our CFO, right? He was instrumental in getting us listed on the NYSE. Also, Nitin is our CTO, right? Very key to build a very battle-tested tech platform that is 100% built in Singapore. And we also have James, our Director of Product, right? Focusing on delivering a first-class experience for all our users here in Singapore. So key highlights. We have a robust service offerings. We're a full suite, one of two companies to have the carpooling license here in Singapore, together with Grab. We have a full suite of services. Think about us, right, having both the delivery and the ride-hailing and carpooling service all into one. Right, we have a unique commission structure. We charge 0% for all our private hire and taxi drivers. Right, this increases customer and driver retention, and it enables us to price competitively. Of course, our technology is proprietary, and we're built with the ability to scale. And we have an experienced and battle-tested team and technical infrastructure. Of course, as we all know that, post-pandemic, right, the market opportunity here in the mobility industry, right, is growing, right? It's projected a CAGR of 25%, north of 25% in the coming few years. And in terms of the quick commerce and delivery, right, with more telemedicine, F&B, e-commerce, the CAGR is projected to grow at 16%. So overall, I think the thesis for mobility and delivery in Singapore and Southeast Asia is positive. Right, rough key drivers in Singapore, right, high cost of car ownership, COE at all-time high. People like yourselves, in the crowd, right, if you have a car, please feel free, download the ryde app, monetize the empty seats, right, do something positive for the environment, and then also monetize the cost of owning a car, paying for parking and petrol, right? Of course, post pandemic, right, the preferences and behavioral changes of people have also occurred. Right, youngsters, they want to use ride-hailing services and they want to go for a cheapest option to get from point A to point B. And people are also used to ordering delivery in terms of for their food and for their meals. As I said, this is a snapshot of what we offer. We started off as a carpooling app, so we have real-time, on-demand bookings and also advanced booking. And in terms of the ride-hailing, we have gotten a license right under the P2P LTA framework, and we provide private hire and taxi services as well. So these are the suite of services, right? We have carpooling, which is the lowest cost, option to get from point A to point B in Singapore. We also have private hire services, larger services like Ryde XL. We also have delivery through our Ryde Send. And I think Ryde Pet is also a pretty popular service here. So if you own pets and you need to get from point A to point B, right, that is a very popular service for people who own pets. And I did talk about the quick commerce delivery solution. So we started beta trial in 2019, 2020, right? And we found that that is a very good use of our supply pool so that we can create more job opportunities for our drivers, right? As opposed to toggling between a few apps. They can actually do ride hailing, carpooling, and delivery all into one. From the supply side or point of view, and on the demand side, right, that it gives options for people. You know, if your daughter or son forgot something in school, right, you just put the right send. Someone comes to your house, collects the tennis racket, right, and sends it off to him or her, right. That's one way that you can use quick commerce solution. And towards 2020, we actually successfully completed our M&A acquisition of Meili Technologies. Meili Technologies is a tech company that is focused on the last mile delivery. What they did well was to use API integration to work with F&B vendors, e-commerce vendors, like for example, POS providers that can link up hundreds and thousands of for example, F&B merchants via a backend API integration. And that integration essentially connects to our supply pool and therefore enables us to acquire merchants at a faster and more efficient rate. Of course, we have also other businesses, right? For those who use ride-hailing services more intensely, you can actually purchase a Ryde Plus subscription. That's akin to Amazon Prime for $16.66 per month. You enjoy priority matching, unlimited cashback by way of Ryde coins, and also exclusive deals from our merchant partners. Right? So together we deliver much more than what you pay in terms for your subscription plan of $16.66 per month. And on the other revenue side, we also monetize our digital space. You can see that we are very, very active on social media. We have Facebook, Telegram, TikTok, Instagram. We have our driver support Facebook groups. We have outreach in terms for our EDMs. We also have trip receipts. So we actually transform our digital space into revenue. And we allow affiliated merchants or business partners to reach our extensive rider and driver base via these digital avenues. And this is just a few of our the Ryde app, right? Hopefully you've downloaded the app, and on the top right-hand corner, there's of the app. There's a wallet that you can tap, and then you can top up the voucher code of $8. Okay, so the top part is more or less the passenger interface, and the bottom left is just a feel of the driver interface. So basically, you got a driver. If you own a car, you just download the app, and you're verified within an hour after you download and submit all the documents. Right, you're ready to do your carpool trip. And if you're a private hire driver, you need to upload your private hire license, right? And it will verify you in the same amount of time. So if you do your trips, at the end of the day, there's a wallet. You can cash out into your bank account directly, right? And get your daily earnings immediately. And on the right-hand side is just some interface for our Ryde Send quick commerce delivery screenshots. Okay, so in the terms of technology-wise, we have embedded integrated mobility, quick commerce. I think we also use AI and algorithms in terms of for back-end customer support service, fraud detection, right? That's very, very key because we increasingly rely on algorithms and AI to reduce the manpower to service both the demand and supply side of things. So we can detect abnormal behaviors. We also can target more higher value customers, right, through targeted promotions. So all in all, it provides for better user experience, at the same time decrease our overall cost in terms of operations and customer support. And in terms of payment methods, right now you can pay by all major credit cards or debit cards. I think one point to note is that we also have ryde coins. So it is essentially a prepaid credit system, an in-house payment token that you're able to use exclusively within the ryde platform. So you can top up your wallet with $150 and then can use up the coins over a period of time. And if you are on ryde Plus or you are part of the special marketing campaign, you can also get ryde coins in terms of cashback, or you can purchase these coins in some e-commerce shops out there in the market. Earning structure. So we have a competitive commission structure. Our carpool and delivery verticals, right? We charge 10%. And for our private hire and taxi drivers, we charge a 0% commission fee. Right, so we are the lowest cost producer in the entire market, right? And that's our position. And in terms of platform and transactions fee, we are very transparent. We do pass on the transaction fee in terms of credit card to the consumer in a very transparent manner. And we collect a small platform fee to maintain and sustain the operations. And also every time a driver cashes out, we do charge a transaction fee as well. Okay, so I think in terms of growth strategy, we are very positive, right? We want to continue to expand our service offering and offer a higher quality user experience in terms of our ride-hailing and mobility segment. So we're continually upgrading our application by adding more features, revamping using AI. The key thing is to allow our consumers to get a ride seamlessly and at an affordable price, right? Of course, beyond that, we also have ambitions for geographical expansion, and we will be judicious in how we expand, not expanding for the sake of expansion, right? Or to raise more money, right? We want to expand where it makes sense. So we are open to various forms of expansion in terms of technology partnership, right? That we are also okay to joint venture. And lastly, obviously, to expand physically by ourselves. And of course, we also are looking at M&A and JVs, right? I think we have done one with Meili Technologies that worked out pretty well. And I think we are experienced in this regard. So where it makes sense, where it's judicious and expedient to do so, right, we will make the necessary acquisition, both upstream, downstream, or or horizontally, right, to basically improve the group revenue and earning structure. Just a quick comparison, right, on what we offer here in Singapore. I think the key thing to note is that we are very, very focused on mobility and delivery, right? And we are not trying to do too many things for too many people. So that has been our thesis, and we'll continue to focus on the mobility and the delivery segment and find synergies within our platform. In terms of financials, right, our last year, our gross profit margins have improved vis-a-vis 2022. And on an adjusted EBITDA basis, we did slightly better, right, than the year before. I think last year we spent quite a bit of energy and resources in terms of our IPO effort, right? In terms of the legal fees, consultancy fees, and audit fees. But I think that is behind us, right? We are much stronger right now. And our aim is to, make this a cash flow positive business as soon as practicable. Of course, the kind of revenue that we are trying to put together, right? We are trying to diversify in terms of just, instead of just solely on ride hailing, right, which is our bread and butter, right, I moved into advertising, ride ads, subscription, and quick commerce. And in the coming years, that's our plan, right, to diversify the revenue, right, and change the composition, right, to eventually make it a sustainable business that's here to stay for the longer run. And lastly, I think this is my last slide. I've we have put together a board that is very experienced and very diverse. We have Van, which is a senior editor and journalist with the columnist with the Business Times and Straits Times. Joanne, she has more than 20 over years of finance experience. She's our audit chairman. And Charles is also an engineer in his own right? He has his own cybersecurity firm, and he also adds the entrepreneurial side of things. And he was also previously working with the SGX, right? So he gives us a very, very good advice as well. Of course, we have Ting Yong, who is a NAD, right? He represents one of our substantial shareholders' interests as well. So together we have a great board, a good team. And yeah, I'm happy to take any questions or pass it to Jonathan.
Okay, great. Thanks for the insightful presentation, Terence. Maybe before we go to the Q&A, I do have some questions on my own. I think we'll just begin with that. What was the main reason for starting Ryde? And at the time, your other, I guess, you had Grab, you also had, I guess, Lala Move and traditional taxis. Maybe could you just explain to us, what was the thinking behind starting the company?
Yeah, I think, personally, I told you I spent the first part of my life in, personally, there's a personal angle, right? In the Navy, I've worked, right, as a naval officer under SAF scholarship. To learn a lot. I went to Harvard Business School. It transformed my thinking and, and the possibilities of what I could do. So I came back, I still didn't have the entrepreneurial drive or the gumption to jump in yet. But, I worked in finance for a while, right, in private equity. And I saw how, the whole people raise money, put money into business, they list the company. I saw how it worked. So in 2014, I looked at the opportunity around, right? What could I do? I was ready. I think I had the credentials. I had the necessary knowledge. I knew enough people. I know where to get the money. Then, came the business idea, right? I looked around. I've been driving for all my life, right? Since I was 18. I worked in the Navy. The naval base is in Tuas Naval Base. So I had no choice, right? But to buy a car because, I was living in Bishan then. I remember early in those days, right? To take a taxi from Bishan, it's at 7:30 in the morning, right? To get there is $30 over. And sometimes you have to stand on the road and you can't even get a taxi. Okay. So those were the days, right? And, I've been driving, so I had to buy a car to get to work. So I've been driving along, and most of the time I'm driving alone, right? That is the most wasteful experience I personally have found. So, come 2014, the timing was right. The technology was there. Payment services, people are okay to pay by credit card. The handphone was more ubiquitous. Mapping was, more mature. So I think the thing was right. And, with my experience as a driver, and then I thought Uber were targeting taxis. And I said, why don't we just target the 500,000 private cars in Singapore? So then, I jumped into carpooling. So that was a personal angle and also a business angle, right? And it's been 10 years, no regrets on this journey. Happy to share my journey with anyone who's more interested. Yeah.
Thanks for that. I guess next question would be, what's the main difference between Ryde and Grab? Because I think, Grab is the most well-known ride-hailing company in Singapore, at least. Maybe just share some of the differences that you feel you guys have with Grab.
So I think we run our own race. Okay. We are here to build a good product, and create value, right? So I think the way that we create value is to be the lowest cost producer. So we are able to offer 0% commission to our private hire and taxi drivers, right? So that, and thereby, please spread the word around, right? Come join us, right? We are taking 0%. So we are able to allow our drivers to bring back more every day, right? Because the margins for ride hailing are pretty thin. And thereby we can also share a little bit with the consumer by charging a slightly lower price, right? As opposed to the competition, which charges anywhere between 20 to 30%. So we are definitely creating lots of value here, right? And a lot of drivers are quietly joining us behind the scenes. Okay, so we'll continue to do that, right? As long as we create value, we're the lowest cost producer, right? We don't we're happy to to take some to take a market share, right? In this particular space. So that's one. I think we also have a carpooling, private hire, and delivery, right? We're focused to integrating these three into one app. For the delivery side, we are not really doing the e-commerce side of the things, right? We're not taking the orders, we're not doing anything. We are just purely focusing on the delivery side of the thing, right? Akin to Lalamove, right? Just purely focusing on that. We want to make sure that our drivers have enough jobs, and our platform, businesses, telemedicine operators, F&B operators, e-commerce are able to tap in, even via personal accounts or via API, right, to tap into our supply pool. And I'm very, very sanguine about the prospects, right, of the delivery space as we come. We are all sooner or later, right? I mean, people are already doing it, right? We order our food, our e-commerce solutions, and our medicine, right? And we expect them to be delivered to the doorstep in double quick time.
I guess a last question for me, what are some of the key market opportunities that you see, either within Singapore or the rest of Southeast Asia?
Yeah, I think the market opportunities are great, right? We are a technology company, right? And there are many technology companies. Look at ByteDance, look at Google, look at the many major tech companies, right? What we have is we have user base, we have the technology, we have the underlying product, right? And now, as being a listed company, right, the key in my responsibility is how we can grow the revenue, find synergistic ways to grow the business, right? Either through clever acquisitions, expansion organically, joint ventures, right, to create a more sustainable earnings profile, and a sustainable group. And I bootstrap my way to listing, right? So we do not have billions of dollars of investment dollars to return, right? So we start off at a very low base, right? We can create value more easily this way. And we are a tech company, and we are definitely of course we'll keep our cards to ourselves, but we're gonna expand in a judicious and in a smarter manner, especially in this environment where capital is scarce.
Okay, thanks for that. I guess we'll move into the Q&A portion now. There's quite a number of questions. Maybe I'll start with this one.
Yeah.
There are two of the same questions here. What is your market share in Singapore versus some of the other players like Grab, Gojek, Hadai?
Yeah. So I think there are many analyses, right? And no one is going to tell you what their market share is, right? But I think we're in a high single digits. There are the various reports, right? I think the key is we have a sizable number, right? I believe there are 60 participants here, right? At least. Even if it's not the right profile, but I believe at least 25 people would have, once upon a time or even now have our app downloaded, right, on their phones, right? So, I think what we will continue to do is to make sure that we grow a sustainable business, and be here for the longer term. And naturally, we'll be one of the few players here in Singapore, which has a sizable market size as far as ride hailing is concerned.
Okay, moving on, there are two questions here. mainly about competition. Is it hard competing against bigger players like Grab and Zik? Most in Singapore, I've not really heard or used Ryde before, preferring to use
Mm.
Grab. How are you
Mm.
planning to change this?
Yeah, as I said, we are the lowest cost producer. That's our position. We create value for our drivers. That's what we'll continue to stay laser focused in what we do, right? So, and ride hailing is a very fickle industry, right? People compare prices and they go with the cheapest option, and the car comes quickly, right? So I think that is how we will continue to compete, and also to upgrade our services, right? We adding a lot of features, safety features, AI for the ease of booking, and also safety features to allow people to track their trips, share their trips, edit their destination, right? Include more multiple stops. So all these and all better tracking, better batch rate. So that's what our team is continually focused to do here.
Um, I guess this next question here, is it becoming harder to recruit drivers?
Actually, no. We have an increasing number of drivers that are joining us, right? With our 0% commission strategy. In fact, we are seeing month-on-month increase in drivers, right? I think right now you can see the macro environment is not as rosy. Petrol prices have gone up, right? Rental prices have gone up. Fares have not really gone up. And every 5 to 10% margin in terms of commission counts to the drivers. So that's what we are here to do, to create value in terms of that for the drivers. And we also, I think yesterday we also announced that we partner with Manadol, which is a telehealth medicine company, right? That's how we also try to create, and we give access of to telemedicine consultation that is competitive, right, in the market. And we also extend that for their family members, right? So that's how we also try to take care of our drivers so that they can drive for us for the longer term.
And just curious, is telemedicine, I guess, largest contributor to your delivery business as of right now, or your quick commerce business right now?
Yeah, in terms of our quick commerce, we have we are just not focusing on food. Of course, where people need the delivery done, right, quickly or within a day, right? So there's F&B, e-commerce, flowers, florists, bakeries, telemedicine. So those we have a wide base of client and B2B clients and customers, right? And they use our services. So we see that evolving. And obviously telemedicine is also a growing vertical, right? And that's also good for the delivery business.
Yeah. There's a question here. I take private hire quite often, and always try to speak to the drivers on how well they are doing. 100% of them said it's quite bad as the cut taken by the company is getting bigger, while bonuses and incentives are getting smaller. Compared to when Uber was still around, it seems like there are more drivers, but less riders. Is Ryde doing anything differently from their competitors to address this?
Yeah, as I said, right, it's a very thin margin business. So we are quietly confident as long as we are the lowest cost producer, right? We will prevail, right? So we are rolling out 0%, taking care of them, also better customer service, more we are more compassionate, right? Our CX, right? We hear the issues. So with 0%, we also don't really need to give huge incentives and bonuses, right? So it's more transparent, it's more clean. I think drivers appreciate that at the end of the day, right? We don't mask the commission at the end of the trip, and they have no idea what goes to them, what doesn't go to them, right? So I believe that this is the right thing to do in the longer run, right? And we want the loyalty and to retain our drivers, right, for the longest amount of time. So we strive for this particular route to be transparent and to be open.
And just curious, I guess to follow up on that, how big is actually your carpooling base right now, or have you seen it grow fairly significantly over the last few years?
Yes, carpooling has been steadily growing because I think the cost of car ownership is getting higher, right? And there are many people who join carpooling, some retirees, right? They don't want to be a private hire driver, so they go out 1 or 2 trips, right, to do their morning groceries, right? They can monetize $400, $500, $600 in a month. There are also teachers who need to travel around, insurance agents, professionals, salespeople, property agents, right? So they want to monetize their cars in these difficult times, right? Pay for petrol, pay for parking. So that's one constituency. Of course, we have private hire drivers. I myself am a private hire driver. I'm certified, right? I took the license. I've gone to it. I drive regularly to test out our product, to understand also the difficulties, both technically and operationally, and also financially, right? What drivers face, right? They have to rent a car, they have to pay for petrol, right? And then net, what do they receive at the end? Right, and even our director of product, right, James, right, also directed that he also goes down to carpool, and as we build a better product together. Yeah.
Okay. Moving to some of your quite a number of questions here on, I guess, your any expansion plans or stuff like that. Is ryde planning to venture into overseas markets to expand further? Your competitors are all have a massive presence in the region. Grab in Thailand and Malaysia, and see Project in Indonesia.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think number one, right, we are not a new company, and we're also not expanding to raise money, right, to show GTV, right, show numbers, get more money, right? I think, we're under no pressure, right? So, different companies expanded with different trajectories, right, and how they got there, right? So now we are listed, we have access to funding, right? We can comfortably stay on, right, and watch. And we will only do that where expedient to do so, under a few models that I mentioned, right? We could white label and partner with someone, right? Or we just be a technology provider. Definitely we want local champions and partners, right? So then we pay lesser tuition fees, we integrate better, there's less regulatory hurdles as well, right? So we have both the ride hailing, carpooling, and the delivery verticals that we can seek to expand. In fact, I think we are definitely one of the very few carpooling apps in the world, right? There is not that many. So we have a global product that they're just waiting for the right time to roll out, right? In Europe, there's only BlaBlaCar. In China, there's Kita, and there's not that many carpooling players in the world. So we have a compelling product that is battle tested against the like of Grab, Uber, and stuff. So we're ready, right? And we're ready to go when the time is right.
I'm glad you brought up the listing. There are a few questions here on that.
Sure.
How has been the experience listing on NYSE? Do you get any attention or interest from US investors?
Oh yes, definitely. The listing journey is another entrepreneurial journey on its own, right? We learn many things in this financial maneuver. Obviously, it is good for the company, right? We have access to better instruments, a bigger platform, and access to capital. Able to structure deals differently. So that has been a really, really, personally, a really, really steep learning curve, right? I learned many things in my life. I learned how to be a naval officer. I learned and I thought I learned everything, right? And I learned how to be an investment banker. Then later I learned how to be an entrepreneur when I started Ryde for 10 years. And then in the last 2-3 years, right, how to get a company listed, right? So this is only day one for us. Right? I will learn how to utilize this platform, this company I have, and then create more value going forward, right? So that is our proposition. That is our story, right? And then we have good people right, that works together with me, right? We're happy to partner, to work with, like-minded partners, right, to grow the business together.
And a follow-up to that is, why the US? Why not Singapore for listing wise?
Of course, in this journey, right, be careful how I answer this question. Okay. Yeah. Singapore, it's definitely, it's our home ground. Definitely, we want to support, right, wherever possible. But I think in terms of the financial markets on its own, right, the US is highly liquid. It's huge. The instruments are sophisticated. The structures are well established. So in this journey, we did, start initially, me and Lang, we explored the SGX route. Yeah. But finally, we need to do what's right for the company, right? And the US a platform, right? It is best suited for our needs, at this moment in time.
Yeah, and one more question on the listing. How much was raised? How much cash do you have on the balance sheet? Is there any room for raising debt?
Yeah, so we do not have that, right? So I think it's a public information, right? We raised 12 million, 16 million Sing dollars, roughly. We don't have any debt. Yeah, so we are free in that regard. And we are in a good position or better position, right, than most other tech companies, because liquidity is scarce at this point in time, right? So we have also looked at certain deals where some tech companies, right, they want access to funding, right, and we are looking at some M&A possibilities as well.
Okay, maybe we shift gears a little bit.
Sure.
I think there's a question here that's quite interesting on your zero commission.
Yeah.
Pertaining to your comment on 0% commission for drivers. Tada is also famous for advertising as having zero commissions.
Yeah.
But when speaking to Tada drivers, they mentioned that it isn't really the case, as they take their cut in different ways, either platform fees, etc. How does Ryde take their cut, quote unquote, from drivers and riders? And also, how are they different from Tada in terms of the zero commission?
Yeah, we just focus to do what we need to do. So we do charge platform fees, right, to maintain the app, and we pass on the transaction costs to the passengers, right, in terms of the credit card fees and stuff. And so as I said, first we want to be transparent as well, and then we charge a cash out fee whenever they cash out their earnings. So I think what we have is pretty clean and transparent, and I think drivers, they like that model, especially when they're operating in a very low margin environment, right? So I think that's the value that we will continue to do it for our driver partners.
Okay, maybe we'll move to some of the financial questions. What is the main revenue contributor for Ryde? Where do you see growth coming? Maybe it'd be easier if you share the slides.
Yeah. So so I think over time we want to diversify our revenue structure, right? So membership is also taking a greater portion in terms of subscription service. That's pretty sticky. We also have quick commerce, right, that we want to grow in the coming months and years, and also Ryde ads. So I think those are the for at least for the mobility segment, right? These are the four revenue contributors that we see forward.
Okay, and then another question on revenue. What caused the dip in revenue from 2022 to 2023?
Yeah, as we
do you see
transited.
Sorry.
Also, I think we also were transiting from we started from 10% commission, right, which slowly transited to the 0% towards the tail end. And I think we didn't suffer that much in terms of business impact. right? So I think we'll continue to do the adjustment, the fine tuning, right? And we want to lower the cost to improve the gross profit margins. So I think that's what we're laser focused to do, and we will get that balance right, which is key.
Yeah, so it wasn't due to any, I guess, lack of demand. And you're basically using 2023 as like your baseline for moving forward.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, and then I guess one more question here on profitability. What is the path to profitability? I think this is a question that is asked, very commonly for a lot of newly listed.
Yeah. So we're aiming to hit the cash flow positive, right, within 18 months. So that's what we are laser focused to do. So we are investing in terms of our technology, reducing the operational costs, cutting down incentives, right, delivering a better experience, retaining drivers, low cost of acquisition, right, in terms of our user base and our driver base. So those are the things that we will continue to work on, right, and to be able to, come up with a model that is, a sustainable ride-hailing model that's here to stay for the long run.
I guess a further question on that. How do you, I think you may have answered this earlier, but how do you attract and retain qualified drivers? And also, are you able to share how many drivers you have in Singapore currently?
So we definitely have tens of thousands of drivers that's driving for us, right? Some of them do a few trips a day, some of them do many trips a day, because Singapore, we have a multi-homing system, so we are okay if drivers jump between platforms. That's perfectly okay with us, right? So we are, in that sense, we are flexible. We do not penalize drivers, if they drive for a competitor, right? So we're okay if they drive a few trips with with the incumbent and drive a few trips with us. We are perfectly okay with that. I think, in the longer run, we are flexible, low cost platform for our drivers to make money, right? Ultimately, they are here to make money and to put food on the table, right? So I think with that in mind, we want to support them. And the better we support them, the better it is for our business.
Got it. All right. Okay. Maybe we'll move on to some of there's some questions here on risk. What are the main potential risks for Ryde presently, and what mitigation plans do you have for it?
I think any business, tech business, big or small, they face risk, right? If they don't reinvent themselves, they don't innovate, they don't improve, they don't stay focused, right? No matter how big the company, right, there's a risk of being irrelevant, right? Look at Nokia, right? And the likes of some other bigger companies. So I think being small, being nimble, we can see we are not a super tanker that has gone down in one direction and it's very hard to turn, right? So we are relatively smaller and agile. We have access to resources, right? So it's how the management team, including myself, right, we need to seize those opportunities and gradually grow the business from a group level perspective, right? And then to make this a sustainable business, and also to create value for the Ryde Group.
Thanks for that. And what steps are taken to ensure the security and privacy of user data collected?
Yeah, so the user data and privacy is of utmost importance, right? As a tech company, we secure our servers, we have PDPA controls in place, we do anonymize our data, right, after a certain period in time, and we definitely do not sell our data to third parties, right, to monetize, because that's not one of our goals of monetization. So integrity, PDPA is definitely key as part of our internal controls. Where we do share data is, we explicitly will inform our drivers. For example, when we partner with FWD, right, to provide free insurance. So whenever our users, they want to access to the free insurance, they need to fill up something like, their ID or their birth date. So that information, will be shared with FWD, and that is for a very targeted purpose, because you want to be covered under insurance, right? You need to provide, you tell them who you are, right, and which trip you're on. So in that basis, we will share the parameters of that, and and they are only used insofar when there's a claim who comes up, right? So that is how we take data privacy and security as a tech company really, really seriously, right? And in terms of our governance, right, we do not tolerate this of our, how we run our operations and employees as well. We have strict PDPA rules in place, right? Chinese walls, we have our PDPA officers, right, to make sure that, the integrity of the data, is of the highest importance, right? Especially for a data company like us.
Okay, thanks. We'll move on to, there are quite a number of questions here on, I guess, future plans. With established ride-hailing companies in the region, what strategies are in place to maintain and grow Ryde's market share? How is Ryde innovating to stay ahead of the curve?
Sorry, can you repeat that again, Jonathan?
With established ride-hailing companies in the region, what strategies are in place to maintain and grow Ryde's market share? How is Ryde innovating to stay ahead of the curve in the evolving mobility landscape?
So I think what we need to do is to, I think we have come to a point that, you do not, we just need to grow. We just need to focus as a business, right, on our fundamentals, right? How long we can sustain, how much does it cost us to produce the service, right? We focus on that, right, and doing better, and getting our supply and the users up over time. I think that's our key focus, rather than to see what he's doing and therefore what we are doing, right, on a day-to-day basis. So I think that's how we will try to grow this business, and we want to be around after everyone else is gone, right? That's our focus, because it is a competitive industry, as what you said, and we'll do whatever it takes to create value for our users.
And I guess besides carpooling, are there any other ongoing initiatives to promote eco-friendly transportation options?
Carpooling. So we have also worked with a electric, Singapore Electric Vehicles (SEV). So we also extensively try to promote the use of electric cars, right, via our partnerships with the rental companies, right? So we do extend a special rebates, for the drivers who take up these cars via our preferred partners. So in that sense, we are also trying to promote more sustainable ways to get around on top of carpooling, right? Filling up empty seats into the morning, right? Morning drive to the city. At the same time, also via promotion of electric vehicles. So I think those are some of the things that we are doing in that regard.
And I guess, I wonder if you could share if there are any potential future services other than that Ryde is considering to further enhance user experience.
Definitely. So I think one of the ways that people want to move around is to move. So definitely point-to-point transportation is preferred, right, over public transport, right? But now it's a matter of cost. So what we are trying to do is to bring the per trip quantum down slowly, right? And carpooling is one of them, where it's like, so now most of the time the carpooling could be one passenger in the car, right? And that could reduce his cost of a ride, right? Let's say from $10, right? Let's say you live somewhere in the east to the city, right? Instead of paying $20, right? You could pay 15. So if you're willing to share the trip with someone else, right, we can get it down to 12 or 13, right? And I think we have algorithms in place where we'll try to do maybe, instead of 2 stops or 3 stops, and therefore we can probably get that down to $8, $9 in a longer run, right? And then it's still point to point. You might have to detour slightly, 15 minutes or so, right? But with algorithms, we're able to better match this, and I think ultimately move people in a more sustainable and more efficient manner.
Yeah, I think there are a couple more questions that we take here for on pricing. Understand your commission price is competitive, but what about your platform fee and pricing for customers? Are they also competitive? I think you mentioned earlier about pricing for customers, but maybe just the platform fees relative to your peers.
Right. We are the lowest in the market. Yeah. So as I say, we are the lowest cost producer, right? With 55 cents and 75 cents right now, depending on how, is it below $18 or above $18? So we charge the lowest. So, yeah. So we aim to be competitive in all respects. And we keep our cost structure low. We don't do wasteful marketing campaigns, right? You can see big billboard advertisement plastered. We have our referral campaign, right? So for those who downloaded the right app, if you share the app with someone that has not used the ride before, right, he gets $5 ride coins, you get $5 ride coins. So that's another way to pay for trips and to get more people to join us, right? So you can, I think on the app itself, on the left-hand side, there's a refer your friend feature, right? So you can do that to get more people to join us.
Okay, and is there any way that transparency can be increased for pricing, or is this as far as market standards go, is as transparent as it can get?
Yeah, I know, I understand. Ride hailing is a very, very mythical, and you use it every day, but and there's a lot of things going on behind. So what I can share with you is that at least for pricing is concerned, it is largely due to demand and supply to regulate both, right, on the demand and supply side. Because during off-peak periods, right, then the prices will be lower, right? Because the supply is a plenty during those periods of time. But if everybody wants to go home at 5:30 or 6, right, then definitely you have to pay a higher price because the supply is limited, right? And also traffic conditions are worse during that period of time. So I mean, I'm a driver myself, right? To drive from Beach Road to Bedok, right, after at 1 a.m, right, it takes you, I can get there in like 12 minutes. But during the peak hour, you can be stuck for half an hour or 45 minutes, right? Depending where you are from the CBD. So, and time is money. So you have to understand, right, as a consumer, right? So if it is 30 to 45 minutes petrol or one trip, as opposed to when there's no traffic. So therefore, right, the drivers also have to earn an hourly wage. So as a platform, we also need to balance these two things. And obviously there's also the market rates out there right now. So it's a complex combination of factors. And thankfully the algorithms can take care of this, right? Of course, we can tweak those algorithms, but generally for those who are just wondering how the pricing is set, right, it's just based on demand and supply at that point in time. Yeah.
And I guess moving a little bit to your carpooling business, is there a cap on how much a carpooling driver can earn in a month, or how many rides they can do in a week or a month?
Yes, it's regulated in Singapore, so you can based on LTA, you can do 2 paid trips per day, right? And every trip on our app, you can do 2 pickups. So they are not professional drivers. So if you do not have a private hire license, what you can do is just download your app. You own the car, you upload your documents, right? And then you can do carpooling. So the principle of carpooling is just cost recovery, right? So pay for petrol, pay for parking. So I think that's a great way, because I remember, right, like 15, 20 years ago, I drive a car. There's nothing I can do with the car. The car is an expense. You pay 100 over 1,000, right? You drive around alone most of the time. It's really wasteful, right? At least today, if I were going back again to my bachelor days, right, at least I could monetize. And from Bishan to Tuas, right, I can pick someone for $15, right, and back, right? And that's a great use, monetization of empty seats, meet different people, and do something good for the environment, right? So why not?
Yeah, I think almost time. Maybe we'll end up with this last question here. A bit more of, I guess, a personal question. But aside from business, the business-driven questions, how was your growing up years, and what propelled you to be an entrepreneur?
Yeah, to be really honest with you, I have been studying all my life, looking to get a good job. I did not really, plan to be an entrepreneur. Yeah, I did not. Even after I went to Harvard Business School, after my service to Singapore and to the nation, I just went there so that I could get a better job. Yeah, I came out, I was looking for investment banking jobs. I got offered, at Morgan Stanley in Hong Kong after I graduated, but it was 2009, and, the finance industry was obliterated. So I thought to myself, I'm not going to start all over again from a junior associate, right, all the way up. Right? So I joined a startup private equity fund, right, and we took money from high net worth individuals from China. Then they came to Singapore. They had to invest a certain amount of money, right, $1-2 million, and to get their PR and eventually their citizenship. So I learned a lot while my time at Harvard, and also looking at all these entrepreneurs, right? How they grew their businesses, how they maneuvered their companies, how they looked at the world, right? So I learned a lot, and in 2014-15, I say, hey, actually I possess all the attributes and the conditions to jump in. So to be honest, right, I did something foolish. I don't know if I go back again, if I knew this road is like that, I would do it, but I just jumped. Yeah. So there was no turning back, right? Once you work on something, right, it's been 10 years, you work on something, and I'm also very blessed in my life. Whatever those things that I work on, they tend to materialize. But sometimes I take a bit of longer road, right? Yeah, because I have to learn more lessons than others, right? Eventually, we did the New York listing as well. So I was an unintended entrepreneur. I think the key thing is whatever you want to do in life, make sure you do it well, right? Make sure you do it well, gain the trust of the people around you, right? And the rest, right, really has to depend on fate and and your star in life, right? So I'm very, very thankful. I have a lot of supporters in this journey, and I'll continue to be thankful. And also, I think my mission is also to pass it on to other people, right? Be it that we are in a ride-hailing business. We want to create value for our users, for our drivers, right? To bring food, and bring home and put food on the table. Do good for society, do good for the people around you, right? And the rest, we leave other people to take care of us.
Okay, thanks for that question. I guess a bit more personal, but thanks for sharing a bit of your journey.
Yeah.
So it looks like we've come to the end of our session. Maybe I'd like to hand it back to Terence for any last words before we officially.
Yeah. So I think thank you for having me here. I think it's the first time I speak in front of a more Singapore investor crowd, and thank you for Phillips Capital as well for inviting me here to share our story. I hope that you continue to support our drivers through us, right? Support them, and also feel free to download our app and join us as a driver, a carpooling driver, right? And do take care and support us in and spread the word around, right? Tell your relatives download the app and try to use it.
Okay, and also on behalf of Philip, I'd also like to thank Terence for sharing and imparting his knowledge on all of us. I'd also like to thank everyone for taking time out of their day to tune in. We hope you've been able to gain a deeper understanding about Ryde and the industry that it operates in. With that, we've come to the end of the session. Have a great weekend ahead, and looking forward to seeing you in our next Corporate Insights web. Thank you, and
Thank
bye-bye.
you. Take care.